What's up, everybody? It's another episode of SLTV. We are here with Kenny from Hit the Bid. It's our Wednesdays go over the markets. Crazy shit going on in the markets. This is sort of the recap day. We got a bunch of topics to talk about. Kenny, what's going on, man?
I'm in a really odd state right now, but am I ever in a normal state? I'm just shorting Facebook, and I'm loving it right now.
Oh, did you short it after hours?
I just shorted it just now.
Dude, why did you just short now and not, like, let's say right off the open? So what is it that you saw just right now? We're going to talk about this. Facebook just came out with earnings. They were better than expected here. Stock was down off the news. I saw a 75,000 share order, plunked at 75. Stock dumped to like 73, and then ripped to like 77.5. So what made you just short this right now?
Just broke back underneath what I call my -2 deviation band, 75.63, and I'm already covering 75.16, 75.18, 75.20.
Oh, very nice, very nice.
So just I don't like trading when I'm kind of distracted, but I also this fits the stock. Okay, good numbers, great, everything's over, everybody's so excited,
yes.
But yet still rolls over.
Still rolls over.
Sellers are in control. That's all I need. And to all you guys out there that criticize me on my videos and on stock twits or Twitter, I don't want to say something too nasty right now, but, I mean, get a clue, people. Because, you know, right after I make the video, I'm contradicting myself in real life. As soon as I put a tweet or a twat or a whatever you call it on stock twits, I'm already going the other way, chances are. You know why? Because that's what the market's telling me to do.
Right,
so,
right.
You know how much of a fan I am of U.S. Steel, right? So while it was gapping up,
we were going to get to that. So let's talk U.S. Steel. Came out with earnings last night. Much better than expected. Obviously, this stock's been getting destroyed here. Gapped up pretty nicely and then ripped over 24. So what's your beef on that one?
Oh, well, my beef. Well, see how everything keeps going down. I'm sorry, Facebook people. I just fucked your stock forever by covering that short. Anyway. U.S. Steel.
Yeah, we're back on X.
Because it's been disappointing me so many times, and every gap has failed, I just assumed that gap up would fail yesterday. Okay, so I started getting on stock twits, and I was thinking, this thing's going to be sub 20 tomorrow. If this thing breaks down under this 22.75, 22.65, and then 22.50 area, sellers are going to take the stock back over, and we're going to get hammered. So there it goes. Everyone's yelling at me about how I could call for the stock to be sub 20. I was like, if it breaks down, then there probably will be more selling, which could bring it sub 20. So I was short the stock on that first pop-up. It got to 23.74, pretty much exactly. So I was like, all right, let me cover some here and put a stop on the rest at 24.35, 23.35, where I originally shorted it from. Sorry, 23.50. And I got stopped out of the rest, and then it turned into a monster up trade, which contradicting what I said, how I thought the stock might be sub 20, I was buying it there.
Right,
so the really only people that know what's going on are the guys that are hanging with me live.
Right.
You guys that I tweet or text.
Well, they understand the game, though. They understand the game. Like, you can't pitch the game, or you can't pitch that service or have that unless you're talking to people who understand the game. I mean, you get, and that's what the massive turnaround is. You know, you're gonna get people that come in and are like, oh, well, you were wrong about this. Well, you were wrong about this. But you know, that's the market. That just is the way it is. I can see you have a lot of pent up anger about this. So let's roll right into Yahoo here. Because Yahoo had news about spinning off their Alibaba holdings and spinning it off into another sort of an IPO for this company called SpinCo, and they did it for sort of a tax benny. And you were saying there were some analysts plug in some pretty serious price targets on Yahoo. What happened to that? What happened to Yahoo and Baba?
Well, again, I'm a big hater of all things Alibaba. I never was a big fan of Yahoo. The only thing that saved the company was their stake in Yahoo, right? I mean, sorry, the only thing that saved Yahoo was their stake in Alibaba.
Stake in Alibaba, yeah.
Right? So we've come to know that Yahoo, the only thing that's good on Yahoo is Yahoo Finance at this point. They've lost their search dominance. They really don't have anything going on for the company. except that they're stake in Alibaba. So when they said this thing was going to be, they were taking that stake and they were selling all of it, as I understood. So they were going to have this one monster, look at what we did here. We just made a stupid amount of money on this trade.
Right.
Okay. We've already priced that in. That's why the stock ran from 20 bucks to 53. So I couldn't understand. And then this analyst comes out and says, not only is it going to be up today, we should tack on another 6 points tomorrow. He said the stock's going to close between 56 and 57, maybe $60 handle a day.
In 24 hours, man. Like, that's a terrible thing to attach yourself to, but there's no repercussion for them. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I came out on the news and said, yo, Facebook is going to 82 in 24 hours, you know, and it was mass media, and people actually, you know, this got out to, let's say, 1 million or 2 million people. You know, if I was wrong, I would expect some blowback for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would expect people to hate me and publicly humiliate me on Twitter all day, but it doesn't seem to be happening to these people.
It never does. You and I would take. I make a call about U.S. Steel. I get 8 emails. I'm getting people are like yelling at me. I'm like, I'm just an idiot. I said if this happens, I'm not saying it's going to be here like this guy said. We should tack on 6 more after this, and that kind of made me nervous. I was like, what do you mean? Am I not reading this into this as I should be? Because I didn't see any positives for Yahoo. Because they were gonna unload their gold. They're selling their gold. So what's left of the stock of the company? But again, what really mattered, and if we're looking at charts, is what we do. There was, let's see, guys. Maybe you're paying attention. What do you think the first thing I saw when I started shorting Yahoo? I wasn't thinking I was right. I wasn't thinking I was wrong up until the stock got to around 49.86.
49.
You know, I'm thinking, all right, if this thing breaks down under here, that's your 1 minute VWAP, and then we're looking at 49.60. But more importantly,
she got crushed.
Yeah. After that,
take a look at the intraday. Yeah, take a look at the intraday on Yahoo here. I mean, once she really just said no to that whole 49 area, and then obviously after FOMC, and which leads us right into you know, the next topic here. This Yahoo just freaking crapped out. But dude, let's move on here. Let's keep it moving. FOMC reaction. They came out and said interest rates, we might push on them a little bit. We might lean to 2016. So they were pretty dovish, you know. They said, you know, it was fine. And then once you realized there was no positive reaction to it, you know, the fade trade just started. I didn't think they were going to sell us off as much as well. But then once I stopped seeing any bids like come into the market after like 2:30, 3 o'clock, dude, it started to get pretty nasty. I'm looking at these SPY puts, these 202.5 SPY puts. They were trading about $1 and change. They closed at like $3.10, dude. And the spreads were like 20 cents. They just keep going and going and going and going, man. So it was just like serious liquidation at the close, man. So what are your thoughts here on FOMC, and what are your thoughts here on the reaction?
First time in a very, very long time I didn't even have the TV on or the radio. I knew something was going to happen around 2:15. I didn't want to read into it, because reading into what that analyst said about Yahoo yesterday, I was like, am I this crazy to be thinking about shorting this stock? So I didn't want to hear about what the Fed had to say. What could they say at this point unless they are saying we're raising interest rates today? There wasn't going to be a change of any language. I just wanted to watch how the market reacted, and we chopped up for a while before we finally resolved.
Right.
And I watched the NQ futures. You know, I'm a big QQQ guy. Oh, by the way, lest we forget, Yahoo just fell another $1 after I covered it. Let's not forget that. So then all you really need to do is just trade after I get out. That's how my reputation was born.
All right, we got Alan Fincher here in the chat room saying they brought global concerns into the picture. What actually did they say about it? Giuseppe is saying the Facebook short was quite a good call. Yeah, Facebook, bro. Pull up Facebook, Kenny. That thing is down through 74 now, bro. So you're a hack, bro. So not only can you not make calls, but you're also a hack, Kenny. What do you have to say about that?
I know that was like the worst $320 I've made in my life, because now it's like, what was it? It was worth about $19.50 like a minute later. But again, I see $350. I'm talking to you. I'm like, all right, let me just take this money and move on with this trade. And I see the money. I got to take the money.
That's good. Blame it on me. All right, moving along here. We got Apple earnings. They had a record call, so profits were even more than 2012, which was set by Exxon or whatever. They sold 9 million more iPhones than expected. Stock gapped up to like 117. It hit 119 in the pre-markets, which wasn't all-time highs, but it was pretty close. And then today, obviously, with the sell-off, we faded back into, faded back into that sort of gap here. What do you think on Apple here going forward? I feel like this is the only name that people would even consider buying at this place in the market right now. I feel like this is the only name.
Yeah, and it was supposed to save the market too, and it didn't save the market. So now I'm, if I hadn't been concerned about this market before, let me just reiterate again. My call is for this market to go lower because usually this chop that we're getting at, we had those new highs and we chop. We tried to break down, but then we made it almost back to the highs. That excessive chop usually resolves itself to the downside. So again, overall, I'm negative on the market. With Apple, how could you not want to own the stock? Obviously, the juggernaut that it is. But today proves that not just one monster can lead this charge because we've lost our leadership. It can't be just burritos and Apple taking this higher forever. So
I agree. All right. So where do you think markets can go here on the downside here for the S&P here? I mean, are we talking SPY 197? Are we talking SPY even lower than that? Are we talking just a grind down? And then all these analysts have come out with their targets for the year here. Is this just washing out for the inevitable push back up? I mean, there's a lot of people stuck long, and we saw that today with how extensive the selling got. Towards the close, people just threw in the freaking towel. So, what do you think here going forward, man? Just fade it out until these dip buyers actually start coming back.
You want to? I mean, it's pretty clear on the charts where we want to go. The easy answer is we're testing the lows from what day was this? This was that December 16th low. Was around 1961.
Yeah. So 190. Yeah, 197 on the SPY, somewhere around there.
And then once we break that, then I'm going right down to 1907, and then I feel comfortable about the market again on the S&Ps.
No doubt. All right.
And again, I qualify everything I say now will be with if we start to sell off, and like today on the ES. Just like the QQQ and the NQ futures, and I wish you guys could see my charts, and I talk a lot about VWAP. Guys, I mean, today the way shit lined up, I mean, it was shit that is just, you can't, like, I want to make a video and talking about it, but it'd be just like I would sound insane talking about how things lined up to the penny and then rolled back over. On the NQ futures, we had a rally back up to what I call the multi-day VWAP, was 41.8925. That's what the top tick was at 305, and we sold off 60 points once we couldn't break back above that.
That was the entry for the monster dump into the close. I mean, I bought some SPY puts at like $1.70. And then sold them up over $2, but then they rocked to like $3 at the close. So that was the same thing I was telling you about before, guys. When they release that bid, and that phantom bid is no longer there, that's it, man. You start seeing some serious selling pressure. And again, if you're caught on the wrong side, aka a lot of these dip buyers, including myself, dude, I had a ton of swing longs. I'm looking at my portfolio now, bro. I had Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. I had Apple. I had everything, bro. I had Google, Baidu. I had all this stuff pegged for swing longs here, just because of that big market push they threw in the middle of nowhere. And then boom, just got smoked. So I'm just happy here that I'm not losing my ass. I'm totally flat here on the day.
Totally.
All right. So last topic here.
Well, let's stick with your point there for a second. Swing trading right now and what you're doing has become increasingly difficult if you're thinking more than just a swing for the day. If you're thinking, if you could guess what's going to happen even tomorrow, you're just trying to guess. I couldn't possibly tell you, like we talked about this in the last couple of weeks, if I was being based right now on my portfolio, I suck. I mean, I got stocks down 50, 60% that I thought were going to be great. But guess what? I don't own any of those because there was enough signs to say, hey, you're an idiot. Don't be an idiot.
Right.
Hit the sell button.
Right.
The market is a trader's market right now, and if you're thinking about holding positions overnight, by 3 hours later, you're thinking, oh my God, what have I done here?
Yep.
And then 3 hours later, you're thinking, oh my God, maybe I should get back into that other position.
Yep.
So
that is exactly where we are. So again, like luckily I managed them pretty well. I hedged out pretty well, so I was able to close out flat on the day. But again, a lot of missed opportunity here, especially on the short side. All right, one last thing I want to throw out there, and we might take some questions here from the audience. We got a bunch of people just talking in the chat. This Russia spy news, where they arrested a couple Russian spies because they wanted to know a little bit about high-frequency trading. So check this out. Russia sought to use spies to get more information about HFT in a potential bid to destabilize the markets. And they they had a bunch of correspondence between the people that they arrested. They were trying to understand HFT, or mechanism for market stabilization, to understand how to sort of, I guess, hack into and sort of destroy the system. What do you think about this, man? I mean, we were talking about this before, with all our hacking discussions and all our conspiracy theories and all that kind of stuff. But what do you think about this, man? Uh-oh. Oh, here we go. Oh, shit, the Russian spy hat. The Russian spy hat
is back the fuck on.
So wait. So my Russian brothers are hacking into the stock exchange now to try to figure out high-frequency trading. Maybe they'll fix it by breaking it. I don't know, man. You just gave me one more reason why I'm not going to be involved in the stock market in any shape or form except for intraday trading. I haven't heard about this yet.
No doubt. Yeah, this just came out a couple of days ago. It came out a couple of days ago. I mean, they were originally looking at them for some other things, economic sanctions, some kind of other stuff. But they had some correspondence where they were talking about high frequency trading, which is kind of hilarious. But to your point, right? It kind of makes you scared here to hold anything overnight. It kind of makes you scared to do any of that overnight unless you're sort of reacting to it. But what would you say from the science of most of the moves now are happening overnight? Like most of the moves now in the ES, like the futures market is wild right now. We got comments from Alan talking about last night there was a 10-handle rip in the ES futures. No reason whatsoever. And we ended up opening kind of just sitting here at 204, but there was a 10-handle rip out of nowhere in the futures market last night, and then it just totally retraced. So what would you say about that? I mean, most of the juice sort of is happening here after hours.
Well, to the point with it's a lot of times it's coinciding at like 3:30 in the morning when certain other markets are closing, that they get this imbalance, and you'll see a spike if you're up. Sometimes I stay up 24 hours straight just to watch that stuff.
Right.
But it's not some anomaly. It's usually something based on another overseas market closing or opening, and you're getting a rebalance of the S&P futures contracts. That's why you'll see a drastic change sometimes at 1:30, 3:30, and then again at like 5 in the morning. And then finally when we take over like 6 in the morning, when we start to adjust again. What it really just solidifies my point is I have no clue anymore. I used to have a decent feel if we close a certain way, how it would open up the next day. That is gone. Like my buddy says, where you going? Like I had to wrap up things in my room because I got a gymnastics practice at 3:45. So again, I'm daddy first, sports enthusiast for my kids. That takes precedence. He's like, where you going? It's the most important 15 minutes of the day. I'm like, for who? You think I care how the market closes anymore? It's going to do 500 different things tomorrow at the open to rectify what it did at the close, then it'll adjust and adjust and then redo adjust, and it's going to be the same thing.
Absolutely.
VWAP and reversals, my friend.
No doubt. I mean, that's the safe way to go about it. It's like the fade trade, the fade to VWAP, that kind of thing. It's the safe way to go about it. Me, I come from the science. Like, okay, how can I get behind something that I'm about to see? You know, is somebody's really buying into something or somebody's selling into something? You know, that's kind of my school of science. But as you said, you know, holding overnight and trying to swing trade some of these things, it's difficult right now. It's difficult right now. All right, we got a question here from Edward here. How much do you think oil breaking a pivot low was attributed to the sell-off today? What time did oil tank? I mean, energies were weak all day today. I know that. But oil started tanking here, at like 1 o'clock or so? And then even after the FOMC minutes came out. Did you see the treasuries? Do you watch the bond markets at all, Kenny?
No, I don't. I was only watching, and I only watch the oils through, you know, USO and that UWTI. So
yeah,
I don't. The way I look at oil right now is it's still being deemed as a negative.
Yeah.
And if we're gonna go down, it's gonna weigh on the market still. My inner feeling as just a consumer and someone who cares about the what's the word I'm looking for, the well-being of the majority of people, cheap oil will prevail to be a good thing somewhere down the line to help us and retail sales and all that stuff. And but right now, the trend is market is going to be dragged down by the oil, so why not just go with that? You know?
Right. I mean, yeah, more strip club money too, bro. I mean, dude, if you're paying $1 a gallon, bro, come on now.
I know. I can't believe I saw $1.71 by my house.
That shit is nuts. But you're a Brooklyn way. I bet Jersey.
I'm Jersey.
I bet Jersey is like $1.50.
No, I'm from Jersey.
You're in Jersey. Okay. Yeah.
171 is the cheapest I've seen here. The cheapest in Brooklyn was like about still like 220, 230 there. It's a big difference. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys, we're gonna close it out here. Join us.
Give us some more questions. I like that. Anybody?
Oh, yeah, guys, if you have any more questions, and again, these Wednesday days that we do, we usually just recap market activity and all that kind of stuff. So throw out your stock tickers. We'll take a look at them and all that kind of stuff. You know, we can kind of shoot the shit. But Friday we're gonna get back together and do a little rant. I don't know exactly what the topic is this Friday, but I'm sure we'll come up with something by Friday. Kenny is a very angry man and loves to, he loves to rant. He loves to rant. Look at his face right now, you know? See?
I know. By the way, if you become a professional trader, like I've been teaching a lot of new guys lately, and one guy said, you should always be angry. I mean, you're a pretty successful guy. Why are you so pissed all the time? And I said, I said, here, look at Facebook dropping $1 after I just got out. Want to know what? And that's just now. I was like, every trade that happens to me reminds me of the 1,600,000 times, that's a number, that's happened to me, and it's annoying. Even though I subject myself to this all the time. Every once in a while I'm like, oh yeah, I guess things are all right. But you know what? They're not all right. For the stress that we go through, there's a certain amount of money that you need to make the stress just bearable.
Right.
Then you got to start making the money to make yourself feel okay. You got to get to the happy. Happy is so far out of my reach. Maybe 10 grand a day or an hour, I'd be happy. You know, but prepare to be angry.
Even then, you wouldn't be. All right, we got another question here from Alan Fincher here. Thoughts on Greece? He was saying earlier. Let's see. Greece will play hardball in the negotiations until late February debt ceiling. I mean, honestly, the only thing that I'm keeping up to with the Greece situation, is the leftist party winning, which could mean more problems for the EU. Honestly, though, we haven't given a shit about Greece, even about the EU here, and we don't even give a damn here about the fact that the ECB just started a whole new bond buying program just like we did. You know, we still sold off. So you know.
We cared that day.
What'd you say?
We cared that day about the ECB. That was my last video.
Yeah, we cared that day, and it was just fuel here to prop everything up for today's reaction. For today's reaction. And even the FOMC coming out and saying, we're cool leaning off on the interest rate increase, and we still sold off. You know,
Well, here's my point. Here's one thing. Because we care, that's not good for the market. When does the market go up? Is when we really don't care. Cyprus comes out. What? There's a country named Cyprus? Buy everything. Portugal, Spain, Greece. Oh, buy everything. We gap down on whatever the bullshit is, and then we rally all day into the close, and we gap up the next day. It's a figment of our imagination that we were even concerned about something. But now we are on the edge of our seats. We're almost looking for something to be concerned about. Hence why it's not a good time to be long this market. And again, at the same time, very difficult to stay short overnight. But the best way, the safest way to do it is come in refreshed in the morning and play what you have. I mean, just one or two reversals today, you had a phenomenal day. The Yahoo, even the Alcoa. You know, I'm not gonna,
I caught some great. The only way I helped my account here, I was down like 10 grand, and I caught some great shorts on Netflix. Every time she rallied, just sell calls right into it. Sell calls right into it. I had a $3 call go down to like $1.50, man. So you could have gotten size on that. You'd have been fine. So yeah, the fade trade is working right now really well, and especially Thursday and Friday. We're coming into the weekend. So any of you options traders out there, if this continues, or you get just this sort of dull activity here, you know, you're going to be able to fade calls all day long, man. So just wait for the rallies here and just fade them up. We got another question here. Do you think XLF goes lower from here? This is from Edward Stainton. What do you think about XLF? Dude, financials look so bad.
Another reason I don't like the market. We don't rally without the financials. XLF is at a very crucial spot right here. If anything, you got to get down to that. Wow, there's a lot of support right here. 2305.
Yeah.
Even if it falls through there, you got. I can't see it really getting too far back. You know, 2275. So you're not. It doesn't look so bad. But if we do roll over, we're going to test those lows, just like the market, the 2207 area, and maybe get down to the lows at 2175. I wouldn't touch it. You know, again, if I had to make a call without knowing what's going to happen tomorrow, that would be it. I wouldn't be touching anything right now. And you know what scares me? Just another earnings report that's really frightening is that we're talking about all this, the way that Facebook's making money and Google's making money. All these companies are doing everything mobile. How come the chip company that supplies the mobile chips keeps getting slaughtered every time they report earnings report? Qualcomm, QCOM, down 10%. Where's the mobile revolution if they are not selling chips to make this stuff work? It's very weird how that stock, doesn't do better.
That answer I don't have. All right. So let's kill it here, Kenny. We'll get back together on Friday, and guys, we'll let you know what we're gonna rant about. It might be why traders are so angry. I mean, who knows? Who knows, man? I really want to do like a completely off-topic women kind of thing. But we'll see if we can get to that. I'm gonna discuss it with Kenny. We'll get back to you, Kenny. Any last words here you want to leave with them, guys? I have a strangle actually on Facebook, so I'm kind of on both sides of the trade. I got some 73 puts, and then like 77.5 calls or 78 calls or whatever. We'll see where this thing ends up, but I'm looking to get pretty aggressive short Facebook if she's able to pull back towards like $70. You know, I want that move, man. So that's kind of what I'm going for. Kenny, what's up in your world, man?
I'm gonna just actually look to see if Qualcomm catches a bounce tomorrow. Maybe looking at U.S. Steel if it breaks back below that 2275 area. And again, I wouldn't be surprised to see the QQQ retest that 99.65 area tomorrow. It's only $1 from here. And if we break down this time, I don't think we're going to be able to snap back again. I think we're going to have to get down to some newer new levels to be tested down the downside. I don't see who's coming to the rescue.
Cool. All right, man. You guys heard it here, and we'll see you guys Friday. If not, remember Wednesdays we come together and just talk markets, setups, and all that kind of stuff. What's hot for the week and all that. So next Wednesday, if you guys have questions or you want us to, take a look at shit for you, let us know, man. It can be our own little Jim Cramer Mad Money, except we ain't going to say in 24 hours MasterCard's going to rip 50 points. We're not going to say that, okay? We're going to tell you it for real and tell you, hey, this is what's going to go. This is what we see.
Speaking of that, when does Visa come out with earnings?
That's going to be next week, I think. It's going to be next week, I think. Might be this week. She
'Cause
tanked again today. This was a great short, too. This was a great fade, too, man. From that gap down yesterday, man. This was a good one. She's got a whole lot to run down to, you know, from that gap and go trade when she hit the earnings call from 215 or whatever the hell it was.
Yeah. Well, if it breaks, I have a target of 242.80, which that could be tomorrow. We break through there.
Tomorrow. Yep.
Then we're going 228. Really.
Yep.
I don't like that stock at all. But again, I don't like many. I don't like many stocks.
But see, that's how things change, man. 3 weeks ago, or even like November of last year, credit cards were like the hot trade. Financials.
Yeah, crazy.
The hot trade, man. You know what I mean? Like Bank of America was at $18, and now we're looking at a 15 handle right now. It's sick how quick things change. You know, so be careful out there, guys. Watch those swings. If you want to swing shit, wait for the markets to start tightening those ranges up. So that way tomorrow, you know, you're not going to come in and get busted because, you know, we just moved 30 handles overnight. You know what I mean? And that's the time that you really want to wait for. So right now, trade the shit out of these things. And I would fade a lot of moves because we look pretty weak out there, man. So
Totally.
So Kenny, man.
Let me ask you a question before we go.
Yeah, sure. What do you got?
Before we go, the crew that you got watching our show live right now is your SLTV, Sang Lucci chat room.
No. No, it's just like we just put out the link on YouTube. Why? What do you got?
Okay. So it's like a live feed on YouTube. The Google Hangouts goes live on there.
Yes.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
If you guys are in the chat room, I'll stop by tomorrow.
Yes.
Let's say like 10:30, 11 o'clock. So if you guys want to chill, I'll give my 2 cents. And I don't know. I mean, I haven't only come in there once or twice, but if you guys want me to, I could maybe show my screen up. And I'll show you what I'm talking about with the VWAP and the multi-day and the 1 minute and all that stuff that I look at. If you want me to do that tomorrow, just let me know. I'll come in for maybe
We'll do, man. Always much appreciated, bro. Let's talk about Friday and everybody else. We'll see y'all later, man.
All right, man. Thanks for having me on.